Joining me today on the Capital TV show, Adam Coleman. Adam is the author of Black Victim to Black Victor, public speaker, and the founder of Wrong Speak Publishing. Adam, good evening.
Thank you for having me.
I introduced you as an author of Black Victim to Black Victor. We want to know what is the main idea of your book?
The main idea of the book is, well, actually, there's multiple things I talk about, but talking about the importance of family. I think that's the biggest part of the book, the importance of the nuclear family, the impacts of fatherlessness. So the book is very personal because I grew up without my father. So I talk a lot about my experience, and then I discuss psychologically and behaviorally how it impacts children. So, so the Black part, like the race aspect, is kind of like the top layer, but much deeper. I'm talking about family, in some aspects, morality, things of that nature.
You seem too much ambitious, and you're young and you're different. You have unique thoughts. I'm gonna ask you directly in politics because you mentioned the Black people or Black community. You said progressives are using Black Americans to experiment communism. What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is, like, for example, we'll use Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter uses a black fist. That black fist is a communist fist, right? And you can see that symbolism all on the progressive left, where they adapt that communist aspect, and they do everything on behalf of helping Black people, right? And you'll see that in just regular politics now too. That's the identity politics aspect. So you'll see President Biden say, we need to do this to help people of color, especially Black people, especially Black Americans, right? So it's that emotional leverage because everybody feels sorry for us. And so we really need to get behind this, and they'll use aspects of what might seem left-wing politics, typical left-wing politics, but then there are other things that I feel are, at the very least, socially progressive, that very left-wing, socially progressive. And so when I say usher on communism, I don't think it's that far of a leap. We have cultural Marxists in our country who utilize Black Americans, or the name of Black Americans, to get people to do all types of stuff. So to me, it's not that far-fetched.
Let's move to another topic. Kevin McCarthy wins House speakership in dramatic 15-round voting marathon. How do you describe that?
I've had a hard time trying to figure out a couple things. I'm trying to figure out why is there so much animosity towards Kevin McCarthy? Even from the political right, the most I can get is that he is a rhino, but they call everybody a rhino that they don't like. I've seen some people say, well, he's associated with the World Economic Forum. Okay, I could understand that. But at the same time, I'm just like, what did you think was going to happen? He was basically less than two handfuls short votes from winning the seat. You're not going to convince most of the people to go back on it. They already had their backroom conversations, like they always do. So I kind of think that this was the fringe, and I don't mean fringe from like they're fringe ideologues or anything like that. I mean, like, there are the few, the fringe using this as a moment for posturing, using this as a moment to make some sort of stand, some symbolic stand that they were eventually going to move from. I don't necessarily have a problem with it, but I think it was, I don't see this as more than what it actually is. I think it was just more so people who are politicians who are on the right, who are looking for an opportunity to make some sort of populist stand, to say that the establishment can't just come in here and go straight through. We're going to try to get some sort of demands out of it. And let's see if that even works. because all we saw is that it's word, right?
Yeah, now getting ready to the election 2024,
Mhm.
we see that John Bolton confirms he will run for presidency, and we have many big names like DeSantis, Trump in the Republican Party. How do you see the competition gonna be?
Uh, John Bolton, if he actually does run, I heard that he's thinking about it, but if he actually does run, I think it would be absolutely hilarious. Um, so that to me, that is just a funny side note. Ron DeSantis hasn't declared that he is going to run. It's with the assumption that he will, and I think politically, just from experience, if your name is that hot, you run.
Mm,
You can't assume that the next election cycle that you can run, because someone else may, take popularity, take precedence. So you run at the time,
What
and
about
I think
what about
now, I think Trump overestimates his popularity. I
Mm,
think Trump doesn't realize that people who voted for him twice are fatigued by him. Trump is essentially the Rolling Stones going on tour. He plays the oldies, right? We're going to lock her up. We're going to do this, right? And he's getting a call and response. And
mm,
sure, he can get, thousands of people to show up at a rally
mm.
to confirm that he's still popular, right? But those are the people who love him, right? And those people are always going to be there. But that's not how you win a general election. You win the general election by winning the moderates, the people who are in the middle, right? The swing voters in swing states.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. Mhm.
and
It's gonna
when
it's gonna be tough. House Republicans are ramping up ambitious investigative and legislative plans for addressing China. China is a big rival of United States these days. So, your approach on this subject?
um, actually, I liked more so the policies of Trump when he was in office when it came to China. I think there's too much turning a blind eye to certain things that the Chinese government is doing. For example, the giving them favorable mailing prices. That's one of the reasons why they can send all types of counterfeit goods and all types of stuff into our economy. Um, so I'm much more of the ilk that we trade with them, but we don't give them favorable treatment, because they are our competitor. They are not our ally, and the Chinese government does not see us as an ally as well, right? We are selectively someone that they'll work with, but we're not friends. And I think that's the appropriate way to move forward with them, especially on a trade level.
Mm, mm. Of course, you read the Eurasia Group report that published about the risks expected in 2023. They said that Russia will turn from an international player into the most dangerous, evil country in the world, threatening security for the US and Europe at the same time. What do you think?
I think that everybody has their narrative and everybody has their agenda. I don't think that there's any major country that is either good or evil.
Mm,
I think there are complex. The United States, we could talk about all the countries that we've invaded on the quote unquote, to help people. Meanwhile, starting terrorist organizations and the coups that but I wouldn't say the United States is an evil country. We've done bad things. Our government has done bad things. Our military has got involved when it shouldn't have got involved. And I think it's some of it is the same when it comes to Russia.
mm,
um, I think their invasion into Ukraine is something that is ill-advised, but at the same time I don't think one day Putin just woke up and decided to invade Ukraine. I think there's antagonistic behavior done by the U.S. government and done by other Western allies to have this turn into an outcome. And I think they knew that this was going to be something that would happen. So as far as Russia being big bad and destroy the rest of the world, no, I never really believed that.
Very reasonable. How do you see the emergence of a central role of UAE? We saw the mediation to liberate Brittany Griner. We saw the cooperation with the US, the investment of $100 billion in green energy. How do you describe the situation here?
It's interesting because if my memory suits me, the UAE was also one of the countries before Trump left office to have some sort of recognition of Israel. So it does sound like there is progress in certain countries within the Middle East to have trade partnerships and less hostility amongst each other. To me, I think all of that is progress. I think that's overall a good thing. As far as UAE in general, my knowledge isn't too great about them, but from what I've seen, I think there are definitely positives.
Adam, I want to thank you for this short interview. I forgot to say that you are the president of Ain't Blackistan. So I like the symbol, but can you, in 1 minute, explain why do you call yourself president of Ain't Blackistan?
So it was a small inside joke between a friend of mine, but it stems from Joe Biden when he said, "If you don't vote for me, you ain't black." So we were having a conversation. I said, I'm from Pakistan because I didn't vote for Joe Biden. So then it just turned into like a joke where it's like a foreign nation and I'm the president of it. And I accept anybody who is a dissident, because they didn't vote for Joe Biden. We can all live in the harmonious nation together.
That's funny. Thank you so much, Adam Coleman. Nice to see you today.
Thank you.
Hey, Maria Malouf here. Please click to like and subscribe to Maria Malouf TV YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.